Good evening and welcome to Kennedy High School in Waterbury, Connecticut. Good evening. This is Mitch Beck. We've got outstanding basketball for you. Naugatuck Valley League between Derby and Kennedy. The Kennedy at home. The Eagles, coached by Terrence Morrison tonight. Armand Lavasser is not on the bench. And for Derby, we have Philquan Tate. Our referees tonight are Andrew Magazine and Rob Gambardella. We are about to have the starting lineups broadcast for you. Tonight we are on Comcast Channel 16 and YouTube, and this is a DET Sports Media production. We are so glad to have you along. This is Mitch Beck with you tonight, and we will have the starters first for the visiting Derby team. And the starters for them will be number 5, Isaiah Cadwell. Number 25 is Jaden Domino. 0 is Kobe Mariquin. Number 12 is Derek Ramirez. And number 10 will be Jalen Titus. They go and greet their coaches, the referees, and the opposing coach. We will now have for the starting Eagles here in Eagle Country. We expect them to announce any moment now. Don't want to jump the gun too much. Okay, so now they're getting to it, so we'll get to it. Number 24 is Sincere Alves. Number 5 is Sincere Alves. Number 33 is Lennox Serrano. Number 23 is Isaiah Tucker. Number 21 is David Zielinski. And number 10 is Manny Beeman. Kennedy expecting to have a very big season. We will now have our national anthem, and then we'll go for play-by-play. Always great to hear our national anthem played no matter where we go. So welcome to the 21-22 high school basketball season for the Naugatuck Valley League. We'll be all over Waterbury this season, and we are glad to have you along with us, you there and us here. This should be an interesting game. The earlier contest between Derby and Kennedy wasn't much of a contest at all. I believe the final score was 80-22 with the JV game, with the Eagles dominating from start to finish. So we'll see how the varsity team does for Derby. Our referee is Andrew Magazine. That's who's you see coming across to us. We expect Derby to start on your right, going right to left, and the home Eagles starting on the left, going towards the right. Whistle is blown. Terrence Morrison will jump center. And Isaiah Cadwell will go for Derby. Well, we're excited to have you along. Another season about to get underway. DET Sports Media and Mitch Beck, Deb Thoreau, bringing you all the sights and sounds. And we're underway. Quick shot for three, doesn't go. Moving along the top. That's number 5, Sincere Alves, gives it up to Beeman. They work it down low. And back to Alves. Alves sends it to the corner, move along the baseline, up and in off the glass. And the Eagles are on the board, 2-0. Derby running into a high pressure in the backcourt, finding themselves trapped. And they're able to move it quickly into the forecourt. But a backcourt violation. And a turnover. Lennox Serrano now will throw it into Manny Beeman. And does. Eagles spread out. Looks like they're playing a sort of hybrid of man-to-man and zone is Derby. There's a three, that one's good. And Serrano is on the board. Here's that high pressure again. Derby running into trouble early. Get it into the forecourt and a turnover. Beeman loses it, gets it back, sends it all the way down the court. Quick movement, ball movement. And there's a three that goes off the back of the rim. That's David Zielinski, who's taken the 2 3-point shots, missed both. And Derby now gets an opportunity in the offensive zone. Here comes more pressure. And a quick pass, more of a tap, and trapped. And the ball is taken away from Isaiah Cadwell. Back the other way as Beeman goes for the layup. And just like that, it's 7-0. It's like Derby's going to struggle in this game. And they lose control of it again. Quick turnover. 2-on-1 back the other way. The layup doesn't go. Alves looked for it. Beeman with behind the back to Alves. He pulls up for a three. He shoots, and it's no good. Out to Beeman. Beeman now at the top of the circle. He looks to make a move, kicks it out. Running along the baseline and thrown into the middle. And that's going to be a foul. Will send Serrano to the line. Penalty is called on, that was on number 11, Jaden Mott. First team foul of the game. Serrano at the line shooting 2. Makes the first pretty easily, just over the rim. That's the way you will get taught to do it. I think they called it on 12, not 11. But we'll check later. Serrano's second shot is no good. He gets his own rebound, kicks it out wide, and there's a shot for 3. That's also no good. That was Alves, but another turnover. Alves guides it, gives it up to Serrano a little too hard, and it goes off his hands and out of bounds. Derby ball, 5:26 remaining in the first. And we have a timeout called by Derby. It's Phil Quan Tate, who is the head coach, and he wants to discuss things with his troops. It's 8-0. We play 4 8-minute quarters in high school basketball. Terrence Morrison is the head coach tonight. He's normally assistant along with Gus Krevich and Armand Lavasser, is ordinarily the head coach, but he has the weekend off. Welcome to the home of the Eagles. We are in Eagle Country here in Waterbury. First game of the season for us with Deb Thoreau and Mitch Beck, the A team. Philquan Tate looking to handle the pressure here. Trapped. And it looks like we're going to get a jump ball, and that's exactly what we get. Derby just not able to handle the Eagles' check for the pressure. And kicked out to the side again. They bring it to the middle. Nicely done to break the press. And here's their first shot of the game. Rolls over the rim, and it's going to be a jump ball. And it goes back to Kennedy on the possession arrow. Serrano inbounding now. Give it to Manny Beeman. David Zielinski up at center now. Moves Serrano down low. And we have a foul. Well, we have a timeout. Excuse me, we have a timeout taken by Terrence Morrison. Not happy with what he saw. He's given lots of direction, you can see, as is Philquan Tate discussing things with his boys. So far, the full court pressure coming from the Eagles has been stifling. Derby has no answer for it at this point. They're trying to dribble their way out of it, and they keep getting caught in corners. That's when the two-man come, and they get in trouble. So there's a shot from Serrano. That three goes. And here comes the full court pressure again. Again, they go into the corner. They get stuck by the two men. And a turnover. There's Serrano. He goes for the jam and no good. But he's fouled. Foul gets called on number 5, Isaiah Cadwell. Serrano will shoot 2. Derby just has not had an answer whatsoever for the full court pressure coming from the Eagles. Serrano makes the first, and the second rolls. And they're going to say that Alves stepped out of bounds. Will get turned over. Isaiah Cadwell will inbound. He's looking for some help. And there's the forward pressure. And the ball coming into the middle, and there's a layup. Up and in, first basket of the day. That goes to Jalen Titus for Derby. Beeman now. Sends it across to Tucker, down low, up and over. And it was Derek Ramirez who nearly got a ride up and over. Good sign of sportsmanship there by Alves. He could have easily dumped him on the ground and didn't. Alves gets a mask from the bench. State law, city law require masks. And Alves misses the first. Sincere Alves is a senior. He's 5'7". Shoots his second, and that one is no good. Rebounded and turned back over to Alves. He's going to go for a layup and gets it. And it's 14-2. Derby just does not have an answer for the full court pressure. They get it out. A very good play. Good thought at the moment, Jalen Titus. Oh, they're going to say he was out of bounds, but it was still an excellent thought as he tries to bounce it off the Eagle player. Did manage to do it, but he stepped out of bounds. And here come the Eagles again. And there's a turnover. Beeman getting a little bit overconfident. Here comes the pressure again. And another turnover. Now is Derek Ramirez going over the half-court line and back. So it's a backcourt violation. And another turnover. Beeman now sending it down low. Alves looks to shoot a three. That's an air ball. And a turnover. And put back in is David Zielinski. And that one's picked off. Great play. Tremendous play down on defense. Isaiah Tucker, while completely off balance, gets it to Zielinski, and he gets fouled. And will shoot two. 16-2 is the score. Really what Derby needs to do is start sending people long and stretching the court so that the Eagles can't stay in the full court pressure. Makes the first one, does Zielinski. And misses a second, rebounded by Serrano. Serrano open down low. They also don't have the height. And a nice play and a nice pass. Beeman puts it in. See, they keep getting stuck in the same position every single time. Beeman picks it up and sends it back the other way. Here's a three. And that's good. Isaiah Tucker putting it in. And they do the exact same play again. Now they get double teamed, and there's going to be a foul this time. Going to call that one on Serrano. It's 22-2, just 2:36 into the 2:36 remaining. The answer for Derby really is to start stretching the court, and they're not doing that. They're trying to dribble it, and they dribble into traffic. There's a three, and that's rebounded by Tucker. Beeman now brings it up. Looks, gets it down low, and that one's going to roll through, and we're going to get another foul on the play. I think they're calling Perjoka for that. That's the fifth foul. He said 15. That's Perjoka. Makes the first. That's Edmund Perjoka, who is the senior from Derby. Zielinski shoots the second and does not get the roll. And Derby trying to dribble it up again. They get there. Kick it back out up top. Try and set up an offense. And there's another turnover to Serrano. Gives it to Beeman going the other way. He gets the layup, up and in, and it's good, and it's 25-2. And we have a technical foul called. That's going to be called on number 10. That's Jalen Titus with the technical foul. Oh, no, excuse me. That's called on Manny Beeman, number 10 for the Eagles. Looks to me like the referee, Rob Gambardella, indicated he shoved him. First shot of two is missed. Beeman taking a seat now. Jabari James enters the game for the first time. Second shot, not even close. And the ball is sent in. That's number 25, Jaden Domino. Number 12 now with the ball. That's Derek Ramirez. Ramirez tries to make his way, forces it through, and kicks it out. There's a shot for three, and it hits the back of the rim. Going up high to grab it is Dalen Zielinski. who pulls out for a long three. It's both sides of the rim. Serrano now, and he gets tied up. That's Berjoka, and we will have, it's a jump ball, so the possession arrow favoring Derby. And they'll get the ball out on the inbound. And again, they go right to the same corner and get trapped again. And there's another turnover. That was Jaden Domino getting the foul. He fouled Jabari James. That's a 6th-team foul. So they're in the 1-and-1. This is a 2-shot foul, however. And James misses the first. Shoots a second, makes a second, and it's 26-2. And that should go on 21, and it does. That's Zielinski with the foul. He could have picked that up and didn't. And they're going to say it touched the line and a turnover. Ball will go back to Derby. Oh, no, they said Derby touched it last. So Serrano will inbound. That's what I thought. He initially called it Derby's ball, so Gambardella corrects it. And it's Derby's ball. Ramirez, he gets trapped, almost a turnover. It is a turnover. Ball went off a Domino. Here's a three-point fake. Going hard to the net. That'll go off the glass and no good. Gonna call a blocking foul on 21. That'll be Joshua Gildea. He's a sophomore for Derby. Going the line to shoot two is Sincere Alves. Makes the first. 45.2 seconds left. Going to take a break for a couple of seconds here is Derek Ramirez for Derby. Alves now gets a second. He makes a second. 27-2 with under 40 to go. And once again, doing the same play, gets the same result, a turnover. Quick ball movement by the Eagles. And there's a three for Zielinski. They actually get it out and then turn it over the other way. And another turnover back the other way. Alves now with it. He's got a 3-on-1. They go for the chunk and they get it. The alley-oop to Serrano. And another turnover with 1 second left. And that's going to count. I think that's going to count. They are going to count it. And at the end of one, it's 35-2. This has got to be the mismatch of the week. 35-2. So the crowd all ignited on the Serrano alley-oop. So in virtually every single statistical category that there is, it's all tilted the Eagles' way. Fouls are 7 for Derby and 2 for the Eagles. The score reflects just how that's going. It's 35-2 at the end of one period of play. So glad to have you here with us on a Thursday night in Waterbury, Connecticut. This DETSportsmedia.com production of Naugatuck Valley League Boys High School Varsity Basketball, and be seen on Comcast Channel 16 and on YouTube. Mitch Beck with you, along with Deb Thoreau. And wholesale changes for Kennedy into the game is Ergi Musalari. And he inbounds. Robert Angus in the game. There's a long three. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Zielinski. He's getting his confidence. Every single inbound to this point has gone to the right side. Not stretching the court at all. But now the Eagles back off, so at least the Derby team will get an opportunity in the offensive zone if they don't turn it over, which they do. And coming back the other way are the Eagles. Alves with it. He throws it to the far corner. There's a long three that touches the rim, and it goes off of Angus, and we'll go back the other way. Eagles feel like they've made their point, backing off now. That's Momo Ortiz, number 3. Gives it to number 2, which is Angel Alvarez. Villies, excuse me. And that will actually count. Outstanding work on the play. That's number 3, Momo Ortiz. He gets the second basket of the game for Derby. And will look to make the 5th point. And buries it. 38-5. Eagles bringing it up court. Alves passes down low. There's off the glass and in for Ergi Musalari. That ball bounces around and winds up in Musalari's hands. He gives it to Zielinski. Zielinski back to Zielinski. He shoots another long three, doesn't come close. And I believe he did. That was Kobe Marroquin. He stepped on the line. And another turnover. And there's a quick shot by Robert Angus. He makes it 42-5. At this point, you got to feel sorry a little bit for Derby. It's just becoming a whitewashing. And a timeout called. Okay, so entering the game is Angus. Angus, James, Musalari. Number 40 is Sean Reed. There's a long shot. And Terrence Morinson are all in the game. They move the ball along the perimeter. There's a long three. Goes off the backboard and rebounded, brought to the Eagles. There's a long three. That one's missed. And there's a jump ball. Which way is the arrow pointing? I'm not certain. That light is off on the scoreboard, so I can't tell you. But the Eagles turnover on the jump ball gives it back to Derby. those of you watching at home, I know my microphone is picking up some of the language that's here in the stand, so I apologize for that. So I hate to say this because it sounds so terrible, but it really is almost like garbage time already into the second period. We're barely, not even halfway through that. And it feels like Terrence Morrison, has emptied his bench. So pass, nice play. That was a strong play by Aviles. He drops it off of the foot of Jabri James. Nice drive to the middle. He's kind of forcing it, is Aviles. And he goes shoot a couple of free throws. Eagles picking up a couple of fouls. They now have their sixth. One more and they will be in the bonus. Will be Derby. Edmund Perjoka is in the game. Jaden Mott is in the game. Angel Aviles and Kobe Mariquin. Also in the game is number 3, Momo Ortiz, and that's going to go on Aviles, who missed a shot. Ran into Jabri James. That should be 1-1. And it is. 42-6 is our score here in the second. 5:01 left on the clock in the first half. James at the free throw line. Right-handed shot, he shoots, and it doesn't go. That's rebounded by Derby. And there's another turnover. They try to force it in, and it doesn't work. Musliari, unable to handle it. Aviles brings it up. Derby in the red and white. Eagles in the home white with gold and blue. Ortiz has a long shot by Aviles. He's starting to force things now. And the layup is good for James. 44-6 is the score. And we're going to have a blocking foul. That's going to be called on number 34, Robert Angus. Checking in for Kennedy is number 23, Isaiah Tucker. Angus goes and takes a seat. And the 1-1 doesn't go. And here come the Eagles. And the long shot, nothing but the bottom of the net for the very popular Ergi Musliari. And that's going to be a travel. Aviles took a step before he dribbled. 41-point lead here for the home Eagles. Eagles soaring quite high here in Eagle Country in the Kennedy High School Gymnasium. And that shot's just completely rejected. But the runner off the glass for Morrison goes. And that's going to be a penalty on Aviles. I believe that's his third. Should be 1-1. Have a timeout here. I believe Philquan Tate took that one. (49-6). I think that pretty much says it all at this point. Looking forward to all season long. We'll be with you. Deb and I will be with you a lot. I'm sure I'll be with Dave Thoreau as well on occasion. We've got a great crew here that we bring to these games here in Waterbury. Guys bringing you sights and sounds of the excitement of high school basketball. I don't expect the season to go like this one, game after game. I'm sure there'll be close ones for you. This one, however, is not. Eagles coming into the forecourt. They should be shooting 1-1. But they didn't give it to them. And the Eagles bring it up. There's a three. That one's blocked. Good block shot there by Jaden Mott. And turnover goes to Derby. Checking out of the game is Morrison. Checking back in is Beeman. Beeman greets Ortiz. Vilas moves the ball around. And we'll have another foul. That's going to get called on Tucker. They are in the penalty as well. This will be 1-1. Kobe Marroquin shooting the free throws. This will be a 1-1. And that one goes off the rim and rebounded by the Eagles, who are much, much taller. There's a long three that goes off the rim. They fight for it. And it is Derby that comes away with it. There's the pass to Aviles. He pulls up, and he is fouled. Hit on the arm. That was Musliari. It's going to be a two-shot foul. Well, if there's anything to be excited about for Derby, both teams now have 9 personal fouls. Vilas misses the first. Musliari goes and takes a seat. Angus comes back into the game. Vilas shoots the second. He misses it. And it's Angus with the rebound. Eagles in the forecourt. That's Beeman. He gives it up to James. Pushed inside. Returned to him. That shot's blocked. That's a second block shot now for Mott. And Angus gets the bucket, 51-6. And we'll get another foul. Bucket will count. And that's going to go against Jabri James. So this will be a two-shot foul. No, they called it a 1-on-1. Okay, he wasn't in the act of shooting. I thought he was. And Beeman now brings it past the half-court line. Dribbles with his left hand. Gives it up. They work the shot outside. That could have been an up and down. And some good hustle, but a turnover. Kennedy getting a little overconfident. Starting to get real sloppy with the way that they're playing. Won't change anything in the long run. terms of the score, it won't make any difference. But they're just bad habits to get into. But it's also, you got to understand, these are young people, and it's 51-8. They are gonna lose focus at certain points. Vilas, he's going to be tripped. They're going to call that a two-shot foul. I think they're going to call that on 23, Isaiah Tucker. Tucker, the junior. Vilas makes the free throw. Gets the team to 9 points now. This one could put them into double digits with just 1:46 left in the first half. It's been that kind of a performance. And it's 51-10. Here come the Eagles. Swung around nicely to Beeman, back to the point. They move the the ball along the perimeter. Angus gets fouled. And he will go and shoot two. That's Sean Reed, number 40. Both teams in the bonus. Reed sets himself and shoots and misses the rim entirely. And misses the second. And turned over. And here comes Derby. And ball last touch of Vilas. That could have been a double dribble. They didn't call it. And there's a long three again. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Tucker. 54-10. 1 minute left in the first half. Vilas, wild shot. Beeman works his way in and out, kicks it outside. There's a three. Goes off the rim. I believe they're going to call that over the back. Both teams are in the bonus. So that's Jaden Mott. He'll shoot two. 43.9 left on the clock for the first half. And Mott misses. Taking a seat is number 25, Jabri James. Back into the game is Sincere Alves, number 5. And he makes the second, making it 54-11. Beeman now directing traffic. Ball sent along the perimeter. It's Morrison, gives it up. Alves gives it back to Morrison. Morrison thought about the three. Alves directs the ball to Beeman. His shot is no good. And it'll go, looks like it went off of Mariquin. Sean Reed inbounding the ball. Oof, that's a foul. That'll be 2 shots. They're in the bonus. That's Mott. Sends Alves to the line. He'll shoot 2 with 15.3 left on the clock. And Alves buries the first one. Alves shooting his free throws with his right hand. He misses the second. And rebounded by Reed. Gives it back to Alves. He goes glass and buries it. And it's 57-11. 3 seconds, 2 and 1. And they're going to give it back. Vilas turns it over again. 0.8 seconds left. And that will do it for the first half. At the end of 16 minutes of play, the visiting Derby team has 11 and the home Eagles 57. Stick around for the second half. We will return for this DET Sports Media production of NVL basketball, varsity basketball, seen only here on Comcast Channel 16 and on YouTube. Stick around. We'll be back shortly. To the gymnasium at Kennedy High School. Mitch Beck with you, Deb Thoreau, here for the DET Sports Media Game of the Week, which has not exactly been a game of the week. Derby getting destroyed so far, and there's no other word to use that's adequate to describe it than that. It's 57-11, and technically right now, Derby actually has more fouls than points. Angel Aviles has 3 points, 2 fouls. Isaiah Caldwell has a foul. Jaden Domino has a foul. Jaden Mott has 1 point. Momo Ortiz has 5 points, no fouls. Edmund Perjoka has 3 fouls. Derek Ramirez in foul trouble with 3 fouls. And Jalen Titus has 2 points. That's it. For Kennedy, Sincere Alves has 7 points, no fouls. Ergi Musliari has 5 points, 3 fouls. Lennox Serrano has the leading scorer, or well, at least was, for a certain point, has 10 points and a foul. Robert Angus has 4 points and 4 fouls. One more, he's done. Jabri James has 3 points, no fouls. Terrence Morrison has 2 points and a foul. Sean Reed has 2 points and a foul. Isaiah Tucker has 6 points and a foul. Jalen Zielinski has 12 points, no fouls. And Manny Beeman has 6 points and 1 foul. Possession arrow favors Derby. They will start the ball for the second half. Oh, they changed their mind and say the possession arrow is for the Eagles, so they start. And the starters are back on the court for the Eagles. Alves now sends it up to Serrano, and they're going to say he was held. And that will go against number 15 for Derby, who is Perjoka. That's his 4th foul. Serrano's shot hits the back of the rim, no good. He'll shoot his second now. Sets himself, right-handed shooter, makes it. 58-11. And Derby now trying to get something going offensively. And there's a turnover back the other way. Here comes Beeman. He gets the easy bucket, and it's 60-11. Vilas goes hard, no good. Foul before the shot. That's going to get called against number 23, which is Isaiah Tucker. That's just his 2nd foul. On the inbound, that's going to be a jump ball. So possession arrow favors Derby. Joker gives it to Aviles. Aviles tries to make a move, goes back the other way. Beeman, they try and go fancy, doesn't work, but they get the bucket anyway on the 3-on-0. Beeman looking to set up Serrano. And the runner doesn't work. Aviles now goes right down the middle, alley-oop, no good. And Aviles takes the ball away. Aviles makes the three. Aviles now. He's got Beeman guarding him. Looks to go by and does. Kicks out for a three, no good. Just nothing is falling for Derby today. Alves pulls up for another three and makes it at 68-11. Wheels coming off right now for Derby as Serrano with the jam. Right now, that's Momo Ortiz, who fell hard on his shoulder. He's in quite a bit of discomfort. He could have separated it by the way he hit it. He's definitely in considerable discomfort. Trainer out talking to him. He's definitely in considerable discomfort as he heads to the bench. Ball will be in the backcourt now for Derby. Trail by 59. And there's a turnover going back the other way again. Alves brings it into the forecourt. He's dribbling. Goes right around, sends it out to Beeman, quickly around. There's a three, in and out. And a rebound by Derby. Quickly kicked out, a long three. Off the rim. And back the other way, going to the net, off the glass, and in is Zielinski. Long three, that was just a chuck at the net. And there's a basket, nicely done. Good hard work under the rim by Jaden Mott. And he will go to the line looking to make a three-point play. Coming into the game is number 5. That's Isaiah Cadwell. Taking a seat is number 25. And that's Jaden Domino. Looking to make it a three-point play, right-handed shooter. And gets the roll. Biggest play of the game so far for visiting Derby. There's another three, and it's short. Serrano gives it back again, moving to the basket, and he'll get the bucket and a foul. That's a blocking foul. It's Angel Aviles with his third foul. There was a movie made back in the 60s called They Shoot Horses, Don't They? You get the feeling like this game is like that. 61 points is the difference right now. There's another chuck from downtown Waterbury. comes up short, and another rebound. There's a three off the rim. And another turnover. Put in front, off the glass and in. Alves is feeling it. He's had a strong second half so far. Aviles playing totally out of control. To his credit, he's trying to create something, but 1-on-5 doesn't work. Makes the bucket. Entering the game for Derby is number 12, Derek Ramirez. He has 3 fouls. Going and taking his seat is Isaiah Caldwell. Really what buried Derby was early on, they could not handle the front pressure, full court pressure, and consistently turned the ball over, leading to easy bucket after easy bucket. And then stuff like this where it's one steal after another. And that'll go on number 11, Jaden Mott. He'll get the push. Beeman going to the line. Beeman, a right-handed shooter. Rolls off the rim. Takes a few dribbles, gets himself set, shoots, and buries the second one. 78-15. Yes, it's 78-15. Navilis tries again. And this time he draws the foul on Serrano. That's his second. Vilas gets by Serrano. He throws up a runner, goes off the backboard. And here comes Alves, straight down the middle, untouched, off the glass and in. There's a three. Big play for Ramirez. I think that was the first three that they've made the whole game. Eagles, Alves feeling it. Kicks it out. There's a three from the corner. Nothing but net for Zielinski. And we have a turnover. Personal foul. And another turnover. Back in the game is Zielinski. Taking his seat is Alves. Has another three. That one rolls off the rim. Actually into the game is number 25, Jabri James. And that's going to count. Manny Beeman gets the runner and he'll shoot. He'll go to make it a three-point play. Takes a shot, finishes the three, makes it 86-18. There's a long bomb from downtown. It's the front of the rim. And going coast to coast is Zielinski. And it's a 70-point lead now. Zielinski will take a seat. Into the game is Tucker. And we got to travel. Excuse me, that's Morrison into the game. And on the travel call, ball goes back to the Eagles. 70-point lead. And we've still got another quarter to go. Sent it down low, quick turnaround. And Tucker gets his eighth point of the game. There's a three. That one's short. Beeman coming with speed. Puts it into the corner. There's a three. That one's short. Serrano tried to get it. Aviles with it now. He's going to pull up. And they'll call a blocking foul. We're in the bonus, so it'll be a 1-and-1. Nope, now it looks like they're going to call it. You going to call the 1-and-1? No, they're going to call it an inbounds play. Serrano goes to take a seat. Into the game is Angus again. Aviles. He pulls up for a three and makes it. 90-21. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. Beeman kicks it out. There's a three, no good. Under the boards, picking it up, putting it in is Tucker, and it's 92-21. Under 30 seconds now. There's another chuck at the net. At least it hit the rim this time. And Beeman goes coast to coast. He throws it back over his head. And they will give it to Derby. 7.8 seconds left here in the third quarter. Felix now is going to pick it up. Felix with another long three, makes it. And that's how the quarter will end. Eagles ahead by 68 points, 92-24. And we will enter the fourth quarter. Thank you for watching this DETSportsmedia.com production of Naugatuck Valley Boys Varsity Basketball. Seen only on Comcast Channel 16 and YouTube. It's Beck, Deb Thoreau, bringing you all the broadcast sights and sounds for you. This one's just been all Eagles from the second the tip of the ball through right now. It has been nothing but Eagles basketball. They've pretty much been able to do anything they've wanted to do. Okay. Deb doing Tai Chi. So the Eagles will start it. They haven't put the time up on the clock yet. Got to set the 8 minutes on the clock. They haven't done that yet. Oh, girl's like, oops. So 8 more minutes to go. Beeman Kicks it to right in front of us. There's a three, and that one goes off the rim, bounces in. That's Morrison getting the three-pointer. Back to a 71-point lead. Aviles with a spin move. Just whips it into the corner. Here's Beeman sending it right in front of us to James. James thought about the three. There's a three. No good. Vilas with it now. Goes back the other way. Bounces it off the glass and in. James looking for help. Morrison goes to the basket and turned over to Derby. Tried to be too fancy with the ball. Derek Ramirez. Fortunate for him, it went off an eagle. Aviles now with the ball. Goes between the legs. Throws one up at the net, doesn't go. Long three, that's no good. And rebounded. And we'll have a foul on Derby. That's going to go on number 11. It's Jaden Mott. Forgive me for the microphone picking up the obscenity being shouted by the crowd. We apologize for that. No excuse for that ever. And the 1-and-1 is missed. That was Tucker on the line. Vila's going between the legs back and forth. Throws up a long three. That hits the rim. Starts to get his own rebound. They give it back to him. And that's going to go on Aviles also. So on the turnover, and here come the Eagles again. Long three goes in and out. Ball bouncing around. Turnaround falls for Robert Angus. Long three, and it goes. That was Ramirez. There's a long three. That one hits the rim. Vilas with the rebound. And he wildly goes through the middle again. Draws a foul this time. That's going to go on Musliari, I think. Yes, it will. Musliari gets the foul. That's his fourth. Vilas hits the first, 97-30. Going and taking a seat is number 23, Isaiah Tucker. Into the game is number 40, Sean Reed. And he hits the second, and it's 97-31. And here comes another three. That one goes in and out. And a turnover. Vilas draws the foul. Makes the bucket. 97-32, 5 minutes and 5 seconds left in this one. Vilas shoots the second and makes it as well. Musliari throws one up over the rim. Brought down by Derby. As a bomb. Vilas just throwing them up from everywhere. And that's a three. That doesn't work. 4 minutes, 37 seconds to go. That's a travel. Kobe Mariquin, number 0. Getting the traveling call. Ball worked in and almost turned over. Ball moved around. Nice jumper, but it doesn't go. And back down the other way. In and out for Vilas, and a turnover as the ball heads back the other way for the Eagles with just under 4 minutes to go. And that's going to be a foul on Vilas. I believe that's his 4th of the game. They're in the bonus. So this will be a 2-shot foul. Oh, nope, they're saying 1-1. Apology. Makes the first. He'll get the bonus now. This ball is live. And gets the roll. 99-33. 3:50 to go here in the 4th quarter. Vilas with another long bomb. Musliari gets the rebound. That shot is forced. And up and in for Reed. 101-33. Vilas kicks it out. There's a 3. That's way offline. And here comes an opportunity. Rebound. That one's missed by Tucker. And a good lead pass. And up and in. Jabri James with the bucket. 103-33. 70-point margin now. Spin move by Vilas. Makes a bucket. Nice play. $2:15 to go. Kicked into the corner. Another 3-point attempt. That one goes. That was Tucker with the 3. 106-35. Aviles throws up another three. This one falls. James now brings it to the half court. Goes right by Aviles. And a wild shot. Ergi Musliari will go to the line to shoot two. Some changes being made. Coming into the game is number 10. It's Jalen Titus. Excuse me. And missing the first. Musliari. He'll get a second shot here. And he makes a second, 107-38. Aviles. He's going to throw one up from there. Did it again. Knew he would. And it was short. Morrison's shot is short. Rebounded by Reed. His shot is short. Aviles grabs it and brings it up by himself. Eagles had two guys still back in the offensive zone who didn't even make it back. Morrison seems to be limping a bit, and Reed was tying his shoelaces, and they still didn't score. And that one is blocked. And knocked out of bounds by Musliari. Less than a minute to go. Aviles throws up another three. That one rolls in and out. Moved up to James. Down low to Reed. He puts in a runner for a front rim. 30 seconds to go. Aviles goes towards the basket again. Draws a foul. 23.8 left on the clock. Eagles leading 107-38. Aviles shoots first of two, makes it. Should be 107-40, but misses the second. 22 seconds to go. Should just run out the clock here. Musliari is standing there with the ball. 10 seconds left. And the teams are just going to let it run out. 1-0. And that will do it. Our final score here from Kennedy High School. Visiting Derby scores 39. The home Eagles 107. For Deb Thoreau, this is Mitch Beck saying thank you for joining us on this DET Sports Media production of Naugatuck Valley League Boys Varsity Basketball, seen only on Comcast Channel 16 and YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Have a very pleasant evening. Good night.